Hello, welcome back to Patrick Reviews Things. I'm Patrick. Today's review will focus on the Hunger Games series of novels. I got them for myself in January, just finished the third book in the series very recently, and I thought with the movie coming out it would be very appropriate for me to give my opinions on the series. Now, there are different reasons to like the Hunger Games depending on who you are. Let me address for a second the men watching this video who might be thinking about reading the Hunger Games but might be dissuaded by some of the things they've heard about it. Now, I know that, this is a female protagonist, it's in the young adult fiction section of the bookstore, and every copy of every book has a quote by Twilight author Stephenie Meyer on the back, giving her high praise for the book. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't read it. Now let me explain some reasons why I think you should. The Hunger Games, if you don't already know, is a dystopian fiction novel. It takes place in the future after a lot of crazy stuff has happened to planet Earth. The best part about this dystopian future is that they never really explain in detail what actually happened, because the characters themselves don't know. So, that if you like sort of myth-arc things and forming your own conclusions in your head, this will give you a nice chance to do that. I mean, reading it myself, I try and map out things in my head, and it really is enjoyable. Now, in this dystopian future, the totalitarian government has divided up the North American continent. They call it Panem, not America. They have divided up Panem into districts, 12 of them, and they force all these districts once a year to send one girl and one boy between the ages of 12 and 18 to compete in the Hunger Games, as the title says. And this involves killing each other for sport, for the enjoyment of the people watching at home. It's televised and everything. And the winning district is given food and luxuries for their entire district, hence Hunger Games. Now, comparisons have been made between the Hunger Games novels and the popular Japanese film Battle Royale with a similar premise. Now, I have seen the movie and read the books, and I don't deny that these similarities exist, but I think there are also important differences. They can't say it was a rip-off or anything. A very important difference is this regional conflict that gets explored. It's not a bunch of people that already know each other, like in Battle Royale. These people only know one other person, if at all, depending on the size of their district. Everyone else, they only know by these regional stereotypes. So it takes the Battle Royale concept, bunch of young people killing each other, and mixes it with the World Cup, and that associated craziness and fandom. So if you like either of those things, for all means, definitely read The Hunger Games. Now, about the comparisons to the Twilight series, and I don't doubt that these comparisons can be made, but I really think that those comparisons do a disservice to The Hunger Games, because, I mean, I don't associate with the Twilight series. I don't want to read those books, and those movies made me want to die. But from what I know about it, there's definitely, that whole angsty teenage girl thing, then that romance thing, Team Edward, Team Jacob, and all that BS. And that sort of stuff exists in the Hunger Games. The difference that I think exists between the Hunger Games and the Twilight series regarding this love triangle is that it's not really a triangle at all in the Hunger Games. It's more of a square between the one man, the woman, and just neither. She could end up with neither boy, and that's okay with her. She puts herself and her feelings first, and then she worries about the romance. And having such a strong female protagonist, I think, is another thing that puts The Hunger Games ahead of Twilight. And I talked about I talked 2 weeks ago in my review of Glee about my feelings about having a strong female protagonist in your media. And I think Hunger Games definitely does it right. They don't treat her... She doesn't complain about things. She's very confident in herself. She's very driven. She can handle herself, and even when she can't do something by herself and she needs help, it's not treated as if someone is rescuing her. She's not a damsel in distress. It's just two people as equals helping each other. And I think that's very important. So if you're a girl, read The Hunger Games, because that's the type of role model you need to have. But if you're a boy, it doesn't hurt to read this novel. It's not only for women. It's just a strong young person if you're a boy reading this. Like, it's not, I'm a teenage girl, pity me and the things I do. It's, I'm a teenager, this shit's happening to me. It could happen to you. What would you do in that situation? Now, there are some other reasons I think you should read this book. The first is how it's sort of topical at the moment. In America right now, we have a sort of 99 versus 1% thing going on, this economic conflict. And there's a lot of subtext in these books of the inequality of wealth and class struggle and all that. It's mostly subtext in the first novel. It sort of heats up later on in the series if you get that far. But, I mean, if you want to read about how rich people like rich things and poor people hate them for it, this is definitely the book for you. If you want to read about rich people getting their asses handed to them by some angry poor people, this is definitely the book you want to read. The economic rebellion thing is very hot right now, so if you like that sort of thing, read The Hunger Games. One of the most interesting things I found about this book, and one of the things I think would make you want to read it if you liked that sort of thing, is hinted at by the name itself, The Hunger Games. And now this suggests that food will play a part. And I was a little iffy about, it's just, whatever. No, but food actually does play a large part in this book. Our female protagonist comes from a very poor district. So when she's taken on this journey and begins training for the Hunger Games amongst all the rich people in the capital, she constantly goes on these long monologues about the food she's eaten that day. And it's page after page of, this I ate with this, and then I had this drink, and it tasted like this, and it made me feel this way. It's basically food pornography. So if you like that sort of thing, you definitely need to read The Hunger Games. So overall here you got, dystopian science fiction, and then violence and, regional conflict for the men. You got, love triangle romance and a strong female character for the women. You got economic rebellion for people that like economic rebellion. You got food for people that like food. This is a lot of perfect things in one book. So you can come at it from any way and still find enjoyment in The Hunger Games. So I definitely think you should read The Hunger Games if you like any of the things I've mentioned. If you don't think you have enough time to read a book, see the movies at least. They're coming out soon. So go forth and find enjoyment with The Hunger Games. Thank you for watching.